Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
The information contained within this podcast does not consider your personal circumstances and is of a general nature only. You should not act on it without first obtaining professional financial advice specific to your circumstances.
Paul Atherton is an ex-Wall Street advisor on a mission to help young people win back their financial power, wealth and security. He does this by helping them understand the hidden world of finance, risk and investments, helps them figure out how it impacts them, and to seize the opportunities to make it work to their advantage. This is Paul Street Journal. I'm here with Paul this morning. How are you, Paul?
Hey, Tim. Yeah, I'm really well, thank you.
That's good to hear. I don't earn a whole lot as a student, have casual employment, and sometimes it feels when I have my paycheck in every week that it is, kind of not worth it, or it's really hard to save. Is there any tips you can give me, or?
Yes, there is. Very, very few of us head to our bank account and go, oh my God, there's more money in there than I expected. Wouldn't that be nice? And one of the key areas to do that is to save a little bit more. So clearly, saving is on the face of it very simple. You spend less than you earn. But how do you do that? What's a good strategy? So we need a good strategy, I think. And the great strategy for doing this is I call the barbell strategy. It's a statistical technique. If we want to get really heavy into it, it's actually used in quite a lot of areas of life. So they're using barbell strategies for diet, for fitness, as a classic example. So you might spend a small amount of your time doing high-intensity workouts and lots of amount of your time doing, walking and slow walking. And this apparently has some tremendous impact on your health. So the barbell strategies. And how would that apply to savings? Well, let's think. Well, we do a couple very big things. Maybe that's your high intensity example. So a few big tickets, and then we do a whole bunch of small ticket items. Okay, so let's concentrate on a few of the big tickets, the big part of the barbell. Restructuring or eliminating your debt. Now, so if you're trying to save money through budgeting, and you're still carrying a large debt burden, then start with your debt. And if you're not convinced, then I suggest you just go in, look at all your credit cards, look at all your debts, look at all those statements, and start adding up how much you're spending on servicing the interest payments on all of the debt, and you'll quickly see that a massive amount of money is going to that just to keep those credit cards alive. So look at that, and wherever possible, consolidate it. Now, you've got to be really careful with this, Tim, because there are a lot of providers that say they're helping you to consolidate your debt, but they're not. They're not doing it in a very nice fashion. You can end up paying more. So you may have seen adverts for quick personal loans. Don't do those. The perfect place is if you have a mortgage. So if you have a mortgage, you should only have a mortgage, is what I usually say. You shouldn't have other forms of debt. So if you have lots of credit cards, well, it's probably time to start paying down. Pay down the one with the least amount of debt on it, the one maybe only needs a few payments and you've got rid of it, then get rid of it, cut it up and remove it, then move on to the next one. So
start with the smallest first.
Always start with the smallest. There's nothing better than sort of the psychological positive impact of getting rid of a credit card. So you'll feel freer. The light, the air will seem cleaner, and you'll feel lighter on your feet. Fantastic. So restructure or eliminate your debt, or do all of them at the same time. The next big thing is set savings goals. Now, this may sound a bit silly, and I think a lot of people overlook this, but I think it's incredibly important to spend your time having a savings mission, not just a goal, but a mission. So we spend more energy and time setting, trying to meet our mates for a coffee. We literally have more time and energy on working on the logistics and the planning of meeting our friends for the weekend, and no time on having just a simple savings mission. And I think a mission is very important. And they do this a lot in Olympics and Olympic athletes. They look at the missions because missions survive. They survive. They're stronger than willpower, because if you're relying on willpower alone to save, you're going to be in a big trouble. But if you have a very clearly defined mission, you will survive that willpower. Not every day you wake up with 100% energy. I'm going to save. You've got to really have that mission to help you through those times where perhaps you're low on energy or low on, maybe you've had a bit too much stress the couple of days or weeks before. So mission will see you through. And now, what are we talking about? What might a mission be? Well, it could be just save for your 20% down payment on your house. We mentioned earlier about eliminating your first credit card. Well, maybe that's it. Your mission is to pay off all of your debts this year. Missions are very important. You can, a lot of people talk about writing this down and posting it up. I think it's a little bit careful about doing that, because sometimes you post it up and just quickly ignore it. But if you're very clear on a mission, that will certainly change the way you look at things. We spoke earlier about automating your payments. I think a great way is to pay yourself first and set up a separate savings account, separate it from your life, make sure you're very difficult to get hold of, and then automate a payment into that account for yourself. Again, be careful, because the last thing you want to do is set up automated payments, and the first thing you do is try and rate it. Now, that'll be difficult because it's a savings account. It will not be easy. It'll not be easy to get hold of. You'll set it up that way. So be careful of how much you put aside. Be very strict with yourself, but pay yourself first and automate it, and you won't miss it. Number 4 big thing would be, I call this staycations, or a vacation from yourself. Vacations really are expensive. I mean, let's face it. The amount of money you put down for a trip and travel, and it's always, isn't it? I mean, every time you take a vacation, who's gone on a vacation and come back and said, gee, I spent so little money? That's the goal. That's the goal. Tourist boards know you spend a lot of money. That's why they want you to come visit. Do a staycation. You can, and I've done this with my wife. We've done this, and we love vacationing. But we've done staycations. We've done a vacation from ourselves. You go, I don't know, do a hotel in the city, do a change of scenery, do something that's completely out of your regular processes and norms, and it can really feel like a vacation from yourself. So I guess they're the big ticket items. And
camping's a really good one.
Camping, yeah. I got to tell you that my wife is strictly against camping unless it's pitched in the Hilton or a 5-star hotel.
Glamping then.
Very much in the glamping. So the other area, Tim, would be the small. So there's lots of little smalls, but let's go through a few. I always say quit drinking and smoking, and this seems obvious, but maybe lowering drinking and quitting smoking clearly. So these habits are not only physically and psychologically addictive, but they're also very expensive. If you can cut these out or significantly lower them, we all know that has a major impact on not only your health, but also your wealth. We spoke about setting up direct debits, automating your processes, using PayPals, automating payments from your systems. This sets up a nice process for you to be less paperwork coming through you, less psychological drain, and really puts you in a good shape. Utility savings. Call up all utility, mate. Just get on the phone, spend 1 hour less, guaranteed. 30 minutes will be fine. Challenge everyone. I'm thinking about going to a new provider. Those statements alone should force them to find that extra saving. I've done this several times myself. Hopefully they're not listening. Just tell them I'm leaving. I'm very upset with you. And they're always sorry to hear it and find a miraculous deal that they just shut down, but they're going to open up for me. Pack your lunch. It's amazing how much we spend being lazy, isn't it? And often packing our lunch is a lot better than what the sort of junk we get when we go to work. But this discipline, again, could be part of your mission. You know, my mission is to pack my lunch every day for the entire year. Boy, you not only could you be healthier because you packed something fresh that you made yourself, but you will be richer for it, for absolutely certain. Last on the sort of small list is look for a high interest bearing account. We spoke about setting up savings accounts, automating payments to those savings accounts, make those high interest bearing, and you can find them. It's just shop around a little bit, and that will have a knock-on effect to your total savings.
Excellent. Great advice. Well, thank you for coming in today, Paul.
Cheers, Tim. Thanks.
Paul Street Journal.
Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to AuscastNetwork.com for details.